Welcome to the Podcast Profits Unleashed podcast on Mintwave Radio and all podcast platforms. If you're a coach, consultant, therapist, or healer with an online program and would like to find out how to grow your business whilst having fun podcasting, go to podcastprofitsunleashed.com/free. Let's dive into today's episode.
So welcome to the show. I'm so excited about today. We have a very special guest who I had on about a year ago, Andre Paradis, who is a relationship coach and an NLP coach. And today we're going to be covering a lot about relationships. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, helping coaches and experts design, create, launch, and grow their podcast to turn them into a sales machine. Now, Andre helps people specifically who want to build healthy long-term relationships. So welcome to the show, Andre.
Thank you. Good morning. No, it's late for you. Good afternoon for you. Good evening, even.
Wherever you are in the world listening to this podcast, yeah, it's going to be different times of day. So first of all, Andre, if you'd like to share with the listeners, what was the inspiration for you behind you wanting to help people have these long-term relationships?
Oh, okay, good story. So it started in childhood. Really, as a kid, I was a misfit everywhere. So I became very curious with why I don't fit in, or how people get to be cool or not cool. Or the human condition was fascinating to me. Just trying to understand my own circumstances as a 5-year-old forward, and with that, constantly curious and watching people. And by the age of 23, I started taking personal development workshops. I needed to know what I didn't know. And again, my brain is naturally curious. So I just constantly, I'm a researcher, I'm a geek. I look like a musician, but I'm not. Right? I was a dancer, but I'm a research monkey. You know what I mean? So personal development, business development, my own sense of self. How do you blah, blah, blah. Always in workshops. My friends, back in the day, people thought it was weird. Dude, we're going to the beach. I go, yeah, I'll be in a workshop for 2 days. They're like, what's wrong with you? Like, it was that kind of back then unusual. Anyway, so fast forward to 2006, I'm in a workshop in Northern California on a business workshop because I had my business at the time. I was trying to raise the roof on it, and I had taken as far as I could with my knowledge. So I'm in a workshop for 3 days, of course, learning tricks, learning tools. On the flight back to Los Angeles, I'm sitting with a couple that I'd met in the workshop, and the lady, this is such a moment in time. Like, this moment completely changed my life. That moment in life, which I actually thought was random, changed my life on a dime. The woman says to me, "What are you doing next weekend?" I go, "Next weekend I'm free. Why?" She goes, "You want to come to a workshop? It's on me." And I go, "Of course. Free workshop. Are you kidding me? Because those things can be expensive, and I'm curious. I know whatever it is, I want to learn something." So I'm agreeing right away as I'm invited, and then I go after the fact. Oh wait, so what's the workshop? Right? What's it called? What am I getting into? Because I always said yes. She goes, "Oh, it's called Understanding Women." Okay. Now I have to say, every time I say this story, the man, if it's a man hosting, they always go, "Oh, really? There's such a thing?" That wasn't my reaction. My reaction was, again, I always had an ease with the ladies, and I thought it was me. I couldn't have explained it to you at the time, but I always attracted sweet women. When you meet my wife, people go, "Oh my God, wow, you're such a lucky guy." I go, "I know. Yeah, she's an angel. She's sweet." But I always attracted that type of woman. So I didn't do the crazy stuff my friends did, and the yelling and the wow, right? But I actually thought it was me. Though I couldn't explain to you what, I just thought it was my artistic ways or whatever. Okay. So understanding women, I'm all, oh, I just agreed to spend a weekend in a freaking hotel ballroom understanding women. Really? All right. Because I'm thinking, well, I got this, and I'm thinking it's going to be cute. Anyway, so Saturday morning, driving to LAX by the airport, I went in there backwards just because my weekend is okay. But when I stepped into space, there was 400 people in space, and instantly I got the, oh, this isn't gonna be cute. There's something was something was important here. I can't. That's all I can tell you. There was something. I realized it was not gonna be cute, And it was worth sitting and listening. By the way, there was also 400 people, 200 women. And I'm like, what are the girls doing here? What the hell is this? Because if you had a workshop called Understanding Men, you would not find one man in the space. Not one. Right? So I remember thinking, like, what's going on here? Anyway, sit down, surrounded with ladies. They did that on purpose. They set us men surrounded with ladies. And she started. And all I could tell you is, from a guy who thought, I pretty much know this and it's easy for me, blah, blah. At the end of the workshop, I slipped off my chair probably 7 times. Like, slipped off my chair on the floor. And the workshop leader would say, just so you don't think it's me, the crazy woman in front, tell you these stories about I'm crazy and this is what I'm teaching you. She goes, we take a couple of minutes to check with the ladies next to you. That's why they had us sitting with women around us, right? And I'd go, what? And they go, yeah. I'm like, that's that. How do you? That's how we are. But that would be like making you crazy. It does sometimes. And I'm like flabbergasted in what truly happened at the time. I'm married with 2 little kids. My wife and I do well. Like, we do fine. I'm not looking for this. We're good. We're good. We're good. But that day, that workshop, that at the end of it, I realized I knew nothing about women, not even a little bit, nothing. Which then meant I knew nothing about my wife. And that scared the life out of me. You have to understand my siblings. I have 4 siblings. They're all divorced, remarried, 2, 3 times. One's on 4. I have my family. I have my wife. I have my girl. I have my angel. Right? And my brain, who's thirsty for knowledge, who just really went into, I'm not going to be a statistic because I didn't know. And that made me go crazy. Literally, I just went crazy. Like, that moment changed my life, where I ended up taking the entire curriculum of the company. They had 9 to 10 different workshops about relationships. I took all the workshops, soaked it all up. And after the program, I was done with the program, I started assisting all the workshops, the same workshops over again, to hear it again, to hear more questions, to a different approach. I went crazy. Like, and the more I found out, the more I learned, the more I realized there's more. There's always more. Another layer. Another piece, another piece. So the frenzy of, I want all of this, just took me over. Right. So this was 2006. By 2009, I became in line to become a teacher with that company, a workshop leader, because I'm a teacher at heart. So that was just a natural jump. Like, I want to teach this stuff because it's whatever, right? I'm a performer. Put me in front of people, and I'll feed it. And it turned out eventually I didn't end up working with them, but that, as I stepped out from that network, I stepped into the training with other masters in the field. Esther Perel, John Gray, like his material. Like, I continue studying with different masters. So I'm standing on the shoulders of 5 masters in the field of relationships in different angles: anthropology, psychology, human behavior, obviously the chemistry of our bodies. That's the work from John Gray. So I just never stopped, because the more I found out, the more I realized that I didn't know everything. There's on another layer. So 2009, I started Project Equinox officially, and started teaching the people around me, my friends, my family, and it took off on its own. And it shifted in the past 10 years, which is interesting. That's how we got here. Yeah.
Wow. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that, you know what? I think the most dangerous words are, I know that. I've realized that as I get older, it's like, the more I know, the more I realize I know nothing.
Yep.
And for you to just be actually curious about it, because quite often, a lot of people at that moment in time might have gone, oh, I don't need to go to that workshop. I know this. I've got this. But something made you step into that, to have a listen, to be curious. And then that just opened up everything, and almost you had to empty all the knowledge that you thought you had to rebuild it again. It's funny how it goes. It's funny how it goes. Okay, you got there.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, Andre? There are lots of people out there who are, or who will claim that they are relationship coaches. So for you, with what you're doing right now, and you're helping people so that they can have fulfilling, healthy, happy, long-term relationships. Is there some kind of secret process? How do you do this?
It's rather simple. There's an ABC to everything. If you're going to get a college degree, you go to college and you learn the curriculum, right? And at the end, you go, ta-da, you learned it all, like whatever is specific. So for me, in the realm of relationship, is the misunderstanding between men and women, but it's not only men and women, it's like men and women. The dynamic that work for relationship building does not matter it doesn't matter what's between your legs. It's very interesting. It's actually the gay people who put the cherry on the sundae into realizing why do some couples last 30 years, men or women or whatever orientation, and why do the same other people, the whole other type of relationship go straight to hell? Like what do the ones who succeed do? And we realize they all do the same thing: gay, straight, lesbian. Fascinating, because when you take out the men woman dance, because men and women are so different, obviously we confuse each other. And that used to be up to about 10 years ago, mostly the body of work that came to me. She didn't understand him. He was cold, he was distant, he didn't talk enough, he gave her one word answer, she felt disconnected and abandoned. And he thought if she could stop talking and take everything personally, it would be great. She just need to stop. So that was always the pushback, not understanding how we function, operate, and what we need to be connected and feeling good about it. But 10 years ago, things started shifting, and it became this thing where women got more and more masculinized in our culture. Go girl, boss babe, strong, independent, and powerful. Nothing wrong with that. It's actually really beautiful for business and money making, but it destroys the dynamic of relationships. It's the kiss of death, and no one is aware of that. And the same thing, we shame men out of being masculine, right? And they're supposed to be sweet, sensitive, and vulnerable. That's not a man. That's your girlfriend. That's your girlfriend. But if we force men into that space where they don't get to step up to their own lives, build their character, build their confidence, do something relevant in the world, they have no self-respect and they get zero respect from men or women, right? A man who is a loser per his own standards, right, can get, doesn't step in and it's not relevant in the world. So men who have been shamed out of becoming something or stepping into their lives and managing it, they get nothing and they're flatline. So again, shaming men out of being masculine destroys men and relationship possibilities. Pushing women into strong, independent, powerful men, and actually it's even worse than this because now we have a fear-mongering system that says men are dangerous, toxic, you can't trust them, they're cheaters, you're better off on your own. Well, how's this going to work? It's not, right? So what you're looking is if you make half the planet toxic because your mother said so, your teacher said so, your girlfriend, everybody's been hurt in a relationship, it doesn't mean men are bad. Not understanding men does not make them bad. Some women have made terrible mistakes with the wrong kind of man and will project all men are like this, and it's absolutely not the truth. So in my world, really, we decode the men. There's three types of men in my life, my world. There's also three types of women, temperamentally. They look the same, they act completely differently. Men, guys, boys. If you get yourself attached with a boy, your life is going to go to hell, and you won't understand why. Because he will say the right things, he will do the right things in the beginning. He's very seducing. He tells you everything you want to hear to get, but he's not wired to provide and protect and cherish women. And it's a long story. I don't want to go into it so much, but this is the decoding that has to happen in front. If you don't know how to spot a boy who's not a man, but looks like one, who's out to take from you, take your time, take your energy, take your advice, take your body, take everything that he can, right? Which is opposite of what men do. Men give, provide, protect, support, cherish, that, but they look the same. So if you don't know how to spot these men, you will tell stories about men being horrible and dangerous and toxic, and they cheat and they lie and they con and they scam. Not men, boys do. So first thing is you have to learn what to avoid, because these are the ones who create all the fear that you have and all the people being afraid of getting hurt, people not wanting to get married because in case it turns out to be, from the get-go, these guys, you have to spot them. You can spot a boy in one date. And 3 weeks into the program, you can spot a boy on a text. because the language they use is very specific. So that's important, right? So as a woman, if you confuse my relationship and men, we start there. We have to decode that. And the same with the men typically have less problems because men will respond to women much more that anyone's aware of. So if you don't put standards on the way you let men treat you, deal with you, if we're in a culture of go girl, get yours, you know what I mean? Men are playing out there, go ahead and play like them. Liberation of free as a woman to have casual sex and have fun and live your best life, man. What happened is you're opening the channels for men only wanting to play with you and never wanting to build with you. Now, again, it's a delicate thing. Nobody wants to hear this, but this is what I see every day. It's really missing the boat on the steps that build the healthy steps that build a relationship. So for men, simply, you're going to be something to play with or something to build with. And again, you have to know what that is because men typically can't describe it. You're a yes or you're a no. Why? I don't know. She's cool, but yeah, no, she's not. What? So men cannot really describe to you why you're a yes or no. They have a sense of it, but it's like they typically go into she's cool. There's something there that I don't know. She's disrespectful and she thinks she's cool, but she's not. She's trying to push me around and control me. I'm not doing that. That's not enough an explanation for you to understand what's wrong, right? So again, calibration and how you show up is what I do. And the next thing, the first thing before even getting into the teachings of it is that I cannot get anybody in a healthy relationship until we get to unload the baggage of your childhood and your past bad relationships. You understand? Like our nervous system gets affected. We believe things about ourselves, the world, life, people, man, women, right? And if you believe that men are all terrible because you've had terrible experiences with men and or typically starting with your own father, right? The dynamic for a woman is always daddy first, the first relationship, the first love dynamic is your dad. So if you have a poor daddy, like a bad daddy, like a drunk daddy, a missing daddy, it will affect how you see men forever. And same with the boy. So men's primary relationship is mom. So if she emasculated him, if she was disrespectful to him, he literally gets castrated from his own masculinity and he cannot step into it. So we're all damaged in childhood, different levels, right? Abandonment issues, neglect issues, abuse issues of all kinds. Some people have all 3+ sexual abuse. It's unbelievable. But that is what derails us from really being a choice and having a healthy mind to pick somebody who wants what we want. So masculine women tend to magnetize boys towards them in life because it's a yin yang energy, right? If she's masculine, she's going to attract feminine, and life goes to hell. If you're a feminine man, right? So vice versa. So masculine women attract feminine men, feminine women attract masculine men. So this is where the tune in's got to go. We got to clean that up. We got to clean up your story in order for you to be clear-minded and actually let go of the false belief that you've attached as a kid. Typically, it's like in childhood, between the age of 5 and 11, this is where we actually get to believe things about the world, people, ourselves, life, what we deserve, that we're not worthy of love. Like we all have it. It's just different levels. So that is cleanup number 1, right? Clean up in aisle 4, and then we go into when your nervous system is clear of all these false beliefs and this fear, not knowing relationship, man, women. Then I go into, like I said, differentiating the 3 types on both sides, and how do you build a relationship? How do you date a man? Most women have no idea. I'm not gonna say most women have no idea how to date a man. They show up, they're pretty, they smell good, they smile, and they typically lean in. Who is this guy? I want to find out who he is because I'm not going to waste my time. You're not getting a second date just for that energy. What men are looking for, again, they're so responsive to you ladies. They know why they're there. They know what they want to feel. They know what they want to hear. They know what they want to find out. But if you lean in and do it, you step all over him. He'll sit there quietly, look at you, and how many times I see my men are going out, they have a date with this girl, and they say, oh, it's been that I finally got her, she agreed. And I go, so how'd it go? He goes, yeah, cool, but I don't know. She's something about her was off. She was like, there was something going on the other side. I couldn't quite. And again, this is the danger of ladies not understanding. If you're nervous, if you hate dating, because a lot of women hate dating, it's so hard, it's a waste of time, and I'm tired. I've been working all day. I'm supposed to be pretty and happy to be there. I'm tired and I'm hungry, right? Like just that little edge he will pick up. And if you understand that he's there because he's trying to get a sense, he's trying to get a whiff of loveliness and warmth and femininity and feel good. He's been working all day too. So he's looking for a little, wow, like it's so good to be with a woman and delight in that presence and being out of his head. Because when you're in the presence of a feminine woman, it brings us out of our heads into being completely present in our bodies, which is where you like us the most. And this is what we need you to do for us to be present. But if you're in your head because you hate dating and you're tired of, like the guy's gonna go, she was pretty, but nothing there. Or like they instantly pick up that little thing that is off. Women don't know this. How do you get from the first to second date? There's a way the men are, they know exactly how that works or what they want to happen in order for them to step back on number two. Number three, if you get to date number four, you got him. If you get to date number four, he's charmed and enchanted, we call it. It's like he's like, whoa, this one, I'm going to step into more. Again, there's an ABC, it's very specific. And so that's part of the work. And then how do you cross the line into intimacy? God, that's such a big deal. And women, the way the culture is teaching it is keeping men from wanting to invest in you. And there's an instinctual mechanism here that men respond to automatically that women don't understand. And the idea of starting intimacy early, to think that you're starting a relationship, it's the exact opposite for men. So all these things, right? So all the way through. So I call it, if you're a woman, I say I have the owner's manual for men. How to date men, what men want, why do they want it? What does it look like? Why do they step in? Why do they commit? Why do they get on one knee and marry you? Why do they want to make you a life partner? Owner's manual. Right? And these things that are not out there and men can't specifically explain. On the other side, the same thing, because I have men, it's not as common, but when I have men come to me with the confusion of, my favorite is, this guy came at me a while back. He goes, dude, I need your help. I go, yeah, what's up? He goes, I was with my wife for 10 years. I go, huh? He goes, she used to be so sweet and loving and so kind. She was so happy to see me when I came home from work, right? We just had this just great dynamic. And I go, okay, what's the problem? He goes, now I come home. She looks at me. He goes, oh, it's you. He goes in the kitchen. He goes, she hates me. He goes, the dog's happy to see me. I don't get it. I'm like, and my first, because I do women, right? This is my work. And I go, I want to call him a dummy. I'm like, okay, you idiot. She obviously feels taken for granted. You probably don't talk to her enough for her to feel connected to you. If she doesn't feel connected to you, she feels that you're not caring for her. If you don't have the connection, the conversation, and just looking in her eyes to keep dating her, right, throughout the weeks. I date my wife once a week, but still date once a week. If you don't spend, again, the data on this, you have to spend a minimum of 90 minutes with your spouse or your significant others in order to keep the personal connection going. That's this dinner. One day, they'll do it. And check in. How we doing? How's your week? Yeah, it was mine. Yeah, it was horrible. I was out of sort on Wednesday. I'm sorry. This is like really had a tough day because blah, 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 blah. Put down, like reconnect and explain because we are all busy and just reconnect and check in and how we doing. Right? How's next week for you? It's going to be great. We should see my mom this week. It's so 90 minutes. 90 minutes. Statistic on this. Minimum. But if you don't do it, you slip apart. Women feel neglected. They feel like you don't care. And there's also reasons why men do this because and I'm not going to explain here because it's going to take too long, but like the way we maintain relationships, both men and women, is completely different. And if we let the not having an awareness of men do it, that works for men with men, that's very simple. But women do it completely different, women on women. So when we come together, we typically both go into, this is how we maintain a relationship. And for men, it's zero maintenance necessary. And for women, it's constant maintenance in order to stay connected. So if you know this, if you don't talk to your girlfriend on a regular basis, right, after a few months, you're going to lose her because You have to maintain the how you doing? How's life? How's your mother? Oh my goodness, I miss you so much. I miss you so much. We have to get together. I know you're busy. Like all this stuff is how women stay connected with each other. Men don't do this. Men don't do this at all. So for me, I went back home years ago. I hadn't seen my buddy from college in 15 years. Never talked to him, never texted him, never said Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, or never like no, right? And the moment we see each other, high five, oh my God, dude, so good to see you. And we like no time has gone by. What I'm saying here is men's dynamic or relationship maintenance requires your maintenance. I don't need to. You think a man would say to me after 15 years, dude, I never heard from you on your birthday. On my birthday, you didn't call anything for Christmas, and when my dad died, you didn't say anything. Like men don't do this. You see what I'm saying? So one of the disconnects that we do in dynamics, relationship dynamics, and even marriages, people that are bonded is men say, well, I married her. What else does she want? Like I did the big commitment. What do you mean? Do I love you? I come home every night. I make the money. I come like what are you talking about, right? Not understanding that a woman needs the continence, maintenance of connection, conversation, sharing, touching, all that. So women often feel neglected, and he's, I don't understand. I married her. There's a yin yang again. So just to pull her back into your feeling connected, which makes her feel safe. Very simple. So this same guy, right? Who's dude, she rolls her eyes and oh, it's you. He goes in the kitchen. He stepped in again. She had no idea. Like you both don't have to know this. As long as one of the two in the relationship understands instinctively what the other one needs, the other one is like responds naturally. So he went into connecting with her. He went into making time for her. He went into looking in her eyes after coming home from work and talking 10 minutes, not 45 minutes, 10 minutes of like, how's your day? Just for her to go, well, blah, 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 and the kids, blah, 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 right? And then she's good because you care enough to take a little time to check in on her. You know what I mean? It's like these things aren't natural for men, but they're essential for the relationship. And same thing with the ladies. Sometimes you want to talk for 45 minutes about your day, and we don't necessarily need and want 45 minutes of all that's happened. I'm trying to let the day get behind me. Please, you're killing me, right? So we have to meet in the middle. My entire body of work is his way, which is wired in his DNA, hunter brain, get it done brain, no talking brain, right? Her way, which is a gatherer brain, aware of everything and every feelings that comes around moment to moment with her and needs to connect to feel safe constantly. Completely two different machines. So his way, her way, and we have to meet in the middle. And that's the work. It's like meeting in the middle so we are feeling connected and good and as partners. Because if you leave us alone and you do it all your way, we're gonna go crazy. If we do all our way, you'll feel that we're cold, distant, disconnected, shallow, selfish, cold human beings. Okay, that was a long one. I'm sorry.
No, that's great. From what you've shared there, it really is about understanding and accepting that we are different in the way and that's okay. And to not try to pretend that you're this other way or not, just show up as your authentic self and have that understanding that, yes, you need to just remember. I suppose I get it. It's quite common for us to think, oh, I wouldn't have done that like that. And you put all the way, just because the way you would do something, everybody is different. And I suppose women, they're going to have, I don't know what all the love languages are. I've heard people talk about it, but women as well will have a different priority of their preferred love language. And I presume men will too. And I suppose it's what you've shared there is we've all got to be more aware. Yes. It all starts with awareness, and then you can work together, and then you make it sound just so easy.
Again, but I've shared that with you before. Like if you know the picture behind me is my wife and I ballroom dancing. Wow. So you've seen ballroom dancers dance. It looks easy. They glide. It's actually beautiful. Wow, look at it. You know what I mean? But they have to learn. That is just don't ballroom dance. Grab a girl and go. Let's go. And in the beginning, it's weird. It's awkward. It's clunky. It's like you have to find your frame. You step on each other's toes, right? If she is not open to be led, often she will try to help. This is very common. It's happened to me so many times, right? If a woman isn't comfortable necessarily, or it's very women like to help. But if I'm dancing with you and I'm leading you and you're anticipating what I'm going to do because you want to help, this is when I get the elbow to the face. This is when I get the knee to the groin because you're anticipating and will misread my signals and I get hurt. I will actually get hurt. So it's an interesting thing because the knee-jerk reaction to be part of is the same in relationship dynamics. You know what I mean? So if a woman is not able to be vulnerable and trust the guy that's with the man that she's with and negotiate, like, why do you do this? When you do this, it makes me uncomfortable. When you said this, I felt like this. Is that what you meant? Be able to understand that this person is just, if they're not unsafe and you don't need to resist them and or trying to guide them, elbow to the face, to open the channels to, when you did this, what's what happened to me? I didn't like it. Is that what you meant to do? Or can you look into this a little bit for me? And this is how you open the channels of communication, conversation. Because again, when you can approach each other, this is from both sides, when you can we can negotiate your wants and needs, ask for adjustment respectfully, the person who cares for you will absolutely want to do it. The idea that men don't change is bull. But you have to approach them respectfully. And there's a language to this. They call it Manglish. There's also a womanglish that I teach the man, but it's not as, it's different. Manglish is a little more complicated. And I mean that because you ladies get your feelings hurt much more. You ladies are driven by your feeling. We're not. So for us, all you have to do is speak to us respectfully, and we're right there for you, ready to be heroes. Do you know what I mean? But because you're emotional beings, sometimes the frustration will have you get a little edgy in your voice. You'll have a little right, and or he does something, you get frustrated, but it's not big enough for you to bring it up because maybe it'll start a fight, and again, a fight disconnects you even more. So even though you're angry with him or comfortable or not pleased so much, you don't bring it up because like you don't want to start a fight, right? So you don't say anything. But and then they convince yourself that's no big deal. It's a big deal. You're a woman. It sticks. It doesn't go away. And I call that the pancake plate. You have a plate, and all of a sudden the first little injury goes, pancake number one. It's no big deal. Now, pancake is there. A couple of days later or whatever, another little that hurts your feelings that you don't understand why. I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you didn't say that. And you're like, and you don't want to bring it up, don't know how to bring it up. This is really the problem. Nobody knows how to bring it up, especially women get so uncomfortable they don't want to start a fight. But they're upset, but they don't want to start a fight. They don't know how to bring it up because you bring it up, he gets mad, and now it's worse. So you've learned that it doesn't go well when you bring it up because you don't know how to bring it up. English, man, it's really easy, right? It's easy. It's so easy. But you don't know. So you resist. You're not sure how. You stay quiet. No big deal. Oh, pancake number two. And then we get pancake number 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7 and 8 and 9. This is going on for 2 months now. And it's happened to me. Get this. There was a client of mine. I'm in my office. I finished my coffee. I walked into my office. I walk out of my office. I walk into the kitchen, and she'd been cleaning the kitchen. Now, apparently for 2 hours, but I didn't know this. It was working. He goes, I put the cup on the counter and go back to my office, and she lost her mind. I go, what do you mean? He goes, what she did is she threw the entire plate of pancakes at his head in that moment. That last little pancake broke the camel's back. And also she threw the whole plate at him. She lost her mind. And you never, and you don't respect me, and all the work that I do. And he's, what in the hell? So he's thinking this has created this attack, right? Like, we have fantastic lives, right? We live in paradise. We're like, this? But it's not this. It's the accumulation. It's a pancake. So what happened, ladies, is this: not knowing how to bring it up. And then, again, you don't forget it. You can't. It's a gatherer's brain. You don't forget anything. It's part of a survival mechanism. The pancake will stack up until that last little one that seems insignificant, and surely he doesn't know. And then he gets the plate. No, what happens when you throw the plate at him? It's an attack. It's mind-boggling. It's over the top. It's crazy looking. And all he can do is, what the hell? Then you have to push back. You're dealing with men, which are warriors and hunters at heart. You attack a warrior, you're getting a fight, and you're going to lose. You are going to lose. And then you see, now you're crying because you see he's a jerk. He doesn't listen to me. Like after all this, I'm so frustrated. But it's not fair because he never knew any of it. You know what I mean? If you never tell him that little thing bothered you and you don't clean it up, he can't fix it. He can't apologize for it. He can't do anything. Not fair. This is what we all do, not knowing. And it's so easy to manage and maintain and fix. And the guy who you think doesn't care is the jerk or doesn't pay attention, which means he doesn't care for you. That's not it at all. He's just a man up in his head and functioning in the way men function that is very different than you. Anyway, so you see what I'm saying? It's like ballroom dancing, right? There's a yin yang, there's a masculine and feminine, but the complementary come together is the beauty. We just have to learn how to dance, how to communicate, how to talk, how to fix, how to problem solve, and I call it conflict management.
Right.
It's in the conflict management that you bond.
Yeah. Bring it up at the time rather than holding on to it.
Absolutely. So I give you an example of this that's still, like it's the small stuff that will kill you. It's not the big stuff that will kill you. It's a accumulation of the small stuff that you start believing he's a jerk, he's cold, he doesn't care, he doesn't like you, he doesn't talk to you, he gives you one word answer. No, that's not at all what's happening with men. The men, by the way, not the boys. The boys are stay away. They'll ruin your life.
Period. Yeah, I know that. I know that personally. So lack of communication. But what do you think is what's going on at the moment? What is holding people back from having healthy, happy, long-term relationships?
Yeah. If you understand we're so different, men, women, you know what I mean? And again, that mechanism, like I explained just now, like his way is one way, her way is the opposite, and we can't seem to get in the middle, so we take it personally. He gets mad and cold, she gets hurt, and one of my favorite things that ladies doing is, I have to say this because it's funny because it still doesn't work, right? When you give a man a silent treatment, you're not punishing him. He likes it. He likes it because it's quiet. I hate to say. So this is how you punish a woman. Ignore your girlfriend, right? Don't look at her and just stop talking to her. She's in trouble. She knows she's in trouble. You do this to a man, he's finally, it's quiet around here. I tell you, I had clients in front of me, like it was a live workshop. It was an older couple, and this came up, and I haven't talked to him in a week. He goes, and he doesn't care. He's what? He goes, I just thought everything was great because you weren't bitching for a while. He never noticed that she was ignoring him. He just thought everything was good because there was no complaining, because she apparently always complained. Anyway, so that doesn't work, ladies. Do not give your man silent treatment. That will not teach him anything. He would actually stay, it's nice and quiet, even though he knows there's something wrong. Right? Anyway, so just saying. But what's happening is not understanding this dynamic. And in a culture we say men and women are equal, it sends the signal. This is what I see. Again, the past 10 years has gotten much radically worse. It's a whole new set of troubles because women expect men to act like women. And it'll never happen. We're not wired that way. There's nothing about that that's okay, normal. Again, it goes against nature. And you could force nature to a certain point, and then you will lose. And the same, like with women to be strong, independent, masculine, strong, independent, and powerful is good for business. If you bring that into your relationship with a man who's masculine, Houston, so again, the idea that men should be softer, women should be tougher, equalize the playing field. I get it. On paper, it looks amazing. That should work fantastic. It doesn't work at all. Again, nature has us polarized. There's a yin yang, there's a masculine and feminine, and that's the only way to keep the polarity happening for the relationship to sustain and maintain long term. That's the only way. So it's not in the middle that we meet. That neutralizes everything. It's polarity. Okay, so back to nature. Everything I teach is science and nature, psychology, right? It's all, if we go, our culture has us push against nature, go against nature, thinking it's going to be better, and it's a disaster. That's all I'm saying.
It's not, because we are so different with our hormones. So even this whole dynamic of trying to do what living or working in a men's world, as they would say, you guys, your hormones are different. They're running in a 24-hour cycle. You can deal with stuff. Us, we work completely different. And if we want to be even, I'm not even talking about relationships here, I'm talking about even business, the way that you're going to work, you want to work with the hormone cycle. We have a 30-day cycle. So sometimes we want to be creative. Other times we want to rest. Other times there's a time for it. We're not built to do stuff every single day. It's all different. So I totally agree. It's like we're trying to push a little bit too much rather than accept the isness of what is and go with that.
And that's going against nature. And that's the work of Dr. John Gray for the past 15 years. It's all about the chemistry of our bodies and what allows women to be women and to be happy and healthy in their bodies, as opposed to force them into man mode, compete, kill, conquer, fight, push, work 60-hour weeks. You're not built for that. Chemically, you're not built for that. We have testosterone. We're built for that stuff. And actually, it tantalizes our bodies even. Like the fighting, the competing makes us like sharper. Like it wakes us up. It says, come on, let's get it done, right? So we're built for competition and pushing and fighting and winning. Like it works for us. It brings us like another layer of excitement to life. Right? And when we win, it's high five and boom, we did it. We got the job. We got the contract, right? For you ladies, that kind of lifestyle causes 6 times the stress on your bodies, and you don't have the testosterone to restore, to recover. You don't have the testosterone. So you're living on your adrenaline glands on top of your kidneys. So that energy needed is forcing your bodies chemically to pump adrenaline in your bloodstream, push you forward, and this eventually burns you out. So this chronic fatigue syndromes is adrenal syndrome burnout. But worse than this, the statistic on this, I'm going to sound the alarm for some of you ladies out there. When you live in that competitive man mode, pacing, trying to get top of the world, again, 25 years of adrenaline in your bloodstreams. There's a lot of data on this now. Go research it. Adrenaline in your blood burns your organs. It eats you from the inside, and it opens you up to all kinds of disease and cancers, typically breast cancer, ovarian cancer, because of the lifestyle that you're not meant to live. If you're going to lean in like a man and fight in the world like a man, especially if you do it by yourself, because often men can attach to you in that energy, that mode, you're too much. And men are not looking for masculine women. Men who provide, protect, cherish, and want to be a family are looking for the feminine essence in the world. Well, that's been eradicated from you in your daily life per the lifestyle, the culture. So these women often will do it alone. And it's the kiss of death eventually. It's 45 plus. The body fails. They're unhappy. They're overwhelmed. They're stressed out. They're anxious, which pushes men away even more. It's a terrible trap. But apparently, in our culture, we say, girl, you're supposed to have it all. To be valuable, you're supposed to be productive like a man. Really? No, absolutely not. Again, think of nature, think of what it does to your bodies, and think of the repercussion that has for your relationship, all your relationships, and men. It will never make you a magnet for man in that state of mind, that energy, that competing space. I'm just saying. If you don't want man, that's good, but you'll find yourself lonely and tired. But in the end, all my clients, after being a boss babe for 10, 15 years, realize I'm tired. Money doesn't make me happy. This career thing is really just a job. What am I killing myself for? I'd like to relax. I want to pull back. I want somebody to love me, help me, cuddle me, make my life easier. That's called a relationship. And men are absolutely willing naturally to do this. Not the boys, again. You have to know what you're dealing with. And this is where we're made for this, by the way. We're both men and women are made to come together and build dynamics to support and help each other to have better lives. Again, more statistic, both men and women are happier, live longer, healthier, more productive, more creative in healthy relationships. All. So that's the primary determination of the happiness of your life is the quality of your relationships. We probably need to focus on this a little bit more. Right? That I don't need no man kind of stuff. They need to stop. You need us. And we need you so much. We need you so much. You have no idea. Men are lonely,
Uh,
detached, they don't understand. And you feel abandoned and neglected. Right. Energy. Again, the masculine and feminine is not a gender thing, it's an energy thing. We both
mm,
have it in each other, right? I have masculine and feminine energy, you have masculine and feminine energy. Which do you bring forward? And is it working for you? Because if men are
mm,
stepping away from you, if you're invisible to men, ladies, you're masculine, and you have to recalibrate. And that's the work that I do. It's not about undoing being a boss, it's braiding, recalibrating that you can actually show up as a boss when it's appropriate at work, but be a woman in the world, and then magnetize men, the ones who want to provide and protect. I could do this all day long. I mean, oh,
love
oh,
it. Love it.
but you see how
Love it.
it's really rather simple, but it's not what's out there.
But this is the problem, isn't it? We need to get out of our own way because we tend to overcomplicate things. And this is so true for everything, that if we just step back and trusted our innate intelligence that we all have within us and showed up as our authentic self and trusted, actually, in nature, a flower doesn't have to struggle to grow. It just grows. Everything around you in nature, but we have been conditioned to almost fight against everything. Whereas when we allow everything, we get in the flow. We get in the flow.
Preach, preach. And again, I want to
No, hang on. I might be good at, but because I'm not in a relationship.
Okay, we should talk.
I'm not in a relationship, right? But I get it. And I can see that I've definitely been going for boys.
Yeah.
Definitely, 100%.
And again, the very first thing, I'm sorry to interrupt, just quick, because it just ties in perfectly what you said, is again, it goes back to we have to clean up your nervous system. We have to clean up the baggage because that original belief system, if you never felt safe as a woman in the world, you're going to step up into your masculine. Your femininity will never get developed, and you become a client of mine. I'm understanding why nobody wants to date you, or you can't build a relationship with men, or attract boys only. Right? We have to clean that up. It's the same with men who don't step up into the masculine. They've been castrated by either the lack of parenting, too much mothering, no male role model. Right? They're not right. It's not their fault. It has to be cleaned up. So that's the base of it. And my point is, regardless how bad you think you have it, it can be cleaned up. And then you're free of the false belief, and you can step in, like you just said, into your own bodies, your essence, your nature, to be able to trust as a woman and as a man that you're capable of being completely, what's called, actuated, right? Becoming the person you want to be. It's really not that hard, except you have to do the cleanup first. Clean up on aisle 4 first. You have to.
There's a clear up needed on aisle 4. So, for the listeners out there, they might be thinking, I need a clear up on aisle 4. They know it. They know. Yep. So, what should the listeners do next?
All right. So, I have 2 gifts for your listeners, if that's okay. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so, like, I do this work, again, you know my story. I'm compelled to help men and women, it's my job to facilitate these things and kind of recalibrate people into what works. And it's not that hard, you know. However, I have a God mission, is to teach this to the masses, to actually bring hope to the masses. Like, I'm talking like nation and worldwide, to teach this wide and broad, because what's happening is when relationship fails, where we cannot attain, sustain, and build healthy relationship, to build healthy family, to raise healthy children, who then could go on and build their own healthy relationship, and have their own families and children. When family falls apart, culture falls apart, the world falls apart, and that's what's happening right now. So I have a God calling bigger than my business that says, you are a disruptor. You're going to go out there and disrupt the current belief and recalibrate culture. Hello. All right, I used to resent it. It's huge, right? The word is like, this has to be Oprah big. Oh, wow. Okay. It's going to take a minute. Anyway, so I want you to thank you. I want to thank you for helping me being a disruptor, to send the waves out there that there is hope. There is a way. This is easier than you think. but the culture is not teaching you this. And actually, everything the culture teaches you makes it more difficult. Okay, so that said, I do podcasts, and thank you again for assisting me to send the waves out. That it is, right? Bringing hope to the world, both men and women. This is very doable. You just need to know how. Anyway, so I do a lot of podcasts, 2 or 3 a week for that reason. And I notice podcast listeners come in 2 different types. That's why I have 2 different groups, 2 different gifts. A lot of people come in because they want information. They're not sure what's going on. They're tapping in a little bit. What's this men? I had a client last week. She says, I'm just started to decode what it is to be feminine. I just never thought about it before. And I'm realizing I probably should step right away. So people who look for information, just because they're curious, is starting to poke around. I will send you directly to my email. So if you go to Andre Coaching, the number 1 at gmail.com, right? Andre, N-D-R-E, Coaching, C-O-E-C-H-I-N-G, the number 1 at Gmail. And in the subject box, you write webinar, right? Actually, it's workshop. I recorded a 25-minute workshop. It's completely free. I'll pass it on to anybody who's curious. It's informational about the actual, what I see in our culture, women who step into, I call it the love lane. There's a love lane and the money lane. And if you're encouraged to step into the money lane so hard, the love lane typically becomes difficult, if not impossible. Now, there's a way to do, because you want both, you want everything. There's a way to do it. That's what that workshop is about. The women who succeed do it in a way that's not out there. So there's a way to have it all, but not in the way you're taught. So if you're looking for information and then you get to hear me speak and understand what I'm up to a little bit, it's free, 25 minutes, Andre Coaching 1 workshop. Gift number 1 for information seekers. The other type of listeners are typically people who go, oh my God, okay, I want clean up on aisle 4. Right? So if you email me, Andre Coaching 1 at Gmail, and you in the subject, just write talk now. I will send you my calendar link. You'll find yourself a spot that's open that works for you. You click on it. It's an hour. It's a VIP hour, exploratory call, I call it. Typically lasts an hour and 15. And in that call, what's the problem? Tell me what's the problem. Because people who call, the people who want to take action, typically understand they're stuck in the loop. Same dynamic, same type person, always the same ending, never, right? Oh, it's a boy. Now some people understand, I've been attracting boys. How do I get out of this? Same with men, right? Attracting the same kind of ridiculous relationships. And in that call, in 15 minutes, I'm so really good at this. I'm bragging now, but in 15 minutes, we go right to childhood, 15 minutes, and we figure out exactly where the wheels came off for you. What was the moment, again, per your relationship with your father, if you're a woman, and your mother, if you're a man, where the wheels came off, where you weren't allowed to step into your essence, where like other people do from having a normal childhood, right? So what's happening is, especially women come to me with, what's wrong with me? I'm pretty, I have money, I have blah, 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 and I can't get a date. If I get a date, I get ghosted. What's wrong with me? A little too masculine, and let's find out how you got here. And so in that call, we find out where the wheels came off, and then you realize there's nothing wrong with you. You're just a product of your past. And if we know what happened, we can fix it, NLP, right? And then we go, what's the dream? What's the dream? Is it marriage, kids? Is it long-term? What's the dream? And then we'll talk about, if you want, step in, and there's different ways to work with me to learn this stuff. Small, medium, large is 5 different ways of stepping in. So that's for the people who are action taker, who like resonated and go, okay, clean up an aisle 4, I'm willing. And if you don't work with me, that call alone for some people just changes their lives because they understand they're not broken. It's just their childhood, the circumstances of their life. That in itself is liberating. So
yeah, brilliant. Yeah, no one's broken. No, you don't need fixing. You just need to be aware and then to try and see things in a different way. Awareness really is key. And I would presume that some of this, they wouldn't be able to figure it out by themselves, because a lot of it will be unconscious. A lot of it will be, we are a product of our own, our past, and we are like zombies in a way. We do things on autopilot without even thinking about why we're doing that. So that's why it is so important you don't have to figure it out by yourself. Why not talk to somebody who knows their stuff and can pull the stuff out of you for you, and then you'll have that aha.
And you'd actually be a
Love
choice. You be a choice really consciously, as opposed to being stuck on cruise control with this false belief that have you attract the people that continue the story of your life and childhood. That's all it is.
Brilliant. Look, as always, I love this conversation. I love our conversation. So thank you so much for your time today, Andre. It's been brilliant. And I think this information is important for everybody out there. Look, myself included, I've just become an empty nester. So I'm only just almost okay. I'm ready.
Now what?
Now what? Yeah, now what? Awesome. Thank you for your time, guys. I will be back next week. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to today's episode on the Podcast Profits Unleashed podcast. If you're a coach, consultant, therapist, or healer who would like to drive sales whilst having fun podcasting, head over to podcastprofitsunleashed.com/free and find out how you can turn your podcast into a sales machine. We'll see you on the next episode.